So I'd like to now start our panel discussion also and call upon as Gurumurthy for just taking us through some of the initial points that have been talked about here. How much of these fault lines really are happening as of now? I'd like to invite Mr. Gurumurthy.
My friend Mr. Jatmalani and other panelists and dear brothers and sisters. See, being from Tamil Nadu, about which are the situation which Tamil Nadu has passed through and is passing through, about which this book deals in extenso, I can experience this book as I read it. See, Tamil Nadu has been the playground of Dravidian and Dalit politics. And I will relate my experience. Tamil as a language is a very, very rich language. And there is an emotional attachment which every Tamil has for the language. And that itself was transformed into some kind of a racial and ethnic identity. And it was promoted, funded, and even weaponized by political ideologies, through which I personally passed through as a student. And in fact, I could not get a law college admission precisely because of this ideology being weaponized. I am a non-lawyer lawyer today. My interest in law forced me to keep in touch with law and be with lawyers, but I could not become a lawyer myself. So you can understand how an idea weaponized in politics can transform a society into hating mutually each other. And I'll give you the origins of the discovery of Tamil. You know, there are many Tamils here, Mr. Parsati is here. The person who really discovered the earliest Sangam literature was one V. Swaminathan Iyer, a Brahmin. And he is called the grandfather of Tamil. He is called Tamil Tata. You know, this entire Tamil literature, which originated in the Sangam period, 2000 years ago and before. He was the one who travelled by bullock carts, he walked and through, and must have visited hundreds and hundreds of villages, just only knowing that these literatures exist, but he didn't know where it existed, and he recovered them. And that is how the Tamil identity was born. It was born through the efforts of quote, unquote, an Aryan. But when I was a student, by that time this ideology has been weaponized through educational institutions into a mutually hostile and hating group. And my Tamil teacher used to say, even though Swaminathan is a Brahmin, he is a good man. So you can understand how this whole thought has been transformed into even the very discoverer of the Tamil language being trivialized. Even though he is a good man, he is a Brahmin, he is a good man. And I'll tell you what does Tolkappiyam, the earliest Tamil literature, speaks about the relationship between Sanskrit and Tamil, between the Vedas, the Upanishads, and the Tamil literature. The prayer part, which is the first page of Tolkappiyam, says, Tolkappiyar, the author of Tolkappiyam, he presents his thesis, that is the grammar and the roots of the Tamil language, that is Tolkappiyam. He presents this before an audience. The audience, he describes this audience as this audience which is educated in 4 Vedas. Nanmarai Paindra Sabayil. This is what he says. That this audience is educated in 4 Vedas. They are experts. And having got educated in the Sanskrit grammar, I qualify myself to present this before this audience. You know, this prayer was removed in Tamil Nadu for the last 50 years. In fact, I was stunned to know about a couple of years ago, a Dravidian Tamil scholar converted to the view that all of us share, that this country is one, our culture is one, our language is only different. When I told him about this prayer, he didn't believe it. He said, sir, I have never read it. He was a Tamil scholar. Then I got the original Tolkappiyam book and showed to him that this is the harmonious identity that united this country, irrespective of huge differences amongst people, their language, their eating habits. This is an example as to how an intervention from outside, for which enormous proofs have been given. There are at least 900 references and about 1500 notes explaining those references. This is one of the most well documented book I have come across. And without any hate, without any attempt to dominate the mind. And the authors say this book is to open a debate. We are not concluding anything. But because the debate has been concluded without a debate, we are reopening the debate so that the debate can go on normal lines. This is one of the modest claims and possibly intellectually one of the soundest claims I have come across. For someone who has produced a magnum opus based on very sound documentation, references and evidence. And I personally tell you about my own experiences with, in the last 15 years, the Dalit community. Many Dalit groups come and meet me. In Tamil Nadu, there are at least 1,000 Dalit organizations and Dalit parties. Some of them come and weep. I have written about it. Some of them come and weep. Sir, we have been converted into a private army. Our number is about 50 to 100,000. There are at least 20, 30, 40, 50 cases against us. We are prisoners of the police. We are prisoners of political parties, particularly the Dravidian parties. We are prisoners of the church. And we can never become free. We cannot come out of these cases. How can you help us? So a private army has been created through state action, outside intervention, and they are the ones who are doing private justice, murders, dacoits, not for themselves, but for others. I have discussed it with police officials. So you can understand that what this book describes is something which I experience, which important people in Tamil Nadu know, the leaders know, the civil servants know. So don't think that this book is an intellectual exercise. This only gives the root to what is happening there on the ground in Tamil Nadu. And so this book has to be read, that it captures the development in the last 100 years and more to what the Tamil Nadu state is today. What I like about how this book captures the work that the foreign intervention is doing, the destructive work it is doing, Rajdeep Malhotra puts it beautifully. Breaking a civilization is like breaking the backbone of a people. The civilizational identity is what makes us share different things and make us feel one. And you disturb it, that oneness is disturbed. Oneness is not just disturbed into disunity. We are divided into warring groups. We begin hating each other. And we begin finding reasons to hate each other. And we begin finding reasons to hate that my great-grandfather and your great-grandfather were enemies. And so we have to be enemies. This is the kind of logic that has been woven into our body politic today. And that is what this book captures. It is not a book which can be read like a novel. It's a book which has to be read with deep contemplation, and a person like me, I have to read this book with the kind of experiences that I have gone through and I am going through even today. There are certain seminal aspects about this book. Two things only I will point out and close. He refers to the atrocity literatures of the British colonialists about India. That was the starting point of the disturbance which our society is undergoing today. Every society has a problem. Which society doesn't have a problem? But we were made to think that we are the problem. We were made to think that this country is a problem. We were never told that this country has certain problems, we have to deal with those problems. We were made to feel that this country itself is a problem. We are the problem. Our people are the problem. And the way the book has captured this is an enormous exercise, not only in intellectual pursuit and investigation, but it is also in history. And the Aryan-Dravidian divide, which the authors have compared to the Rwandan situation of this Tutsi-Hutu division, is amazing. The parallel is so explicitly analogous, and the source of the trouble is the same: foreign intervention. The literature that is produced is identical. Only thing is, since we are a more mature civilization, we didn't have that kind of violence as they could make possible there. So I feel that this book is something of an experience for me, and I think all of us should share this great experience, and this will also help us, as the warning that they have given to us today will enable us to see that further troubles are stalled and hedged against. Thank you very much.